Hey guys, checking in, Sunday Silvercast, huge week ahead. If you're not excited for this week, we're going to do a wellness check on you because you might not have a pulse. With the price action last week, the chart patterns, the incredible demand, the news of the CME shutting down, the movement from New York to Singapore by JP Morgan, it's going to be exciting. Futures open at 7:30 p.m. So we're going to be watching that with a lot of anticipation. Sorry about the hair. It's a little crazy. Haven't had a haircut in about a month. Just got back from the big hunting trip. You know, a men's haircut around Austin now costs about the same as an ounce of silver. Totally ridiculous. What I might do is just shave my head. Hopefully I look as handsome as Aaron over at Texas Silver. But I was thinking about this. If I shaved my head and didn't get a haircut every month, that 1 ounce of silver, I took that money, invested it in silver. You push that into a compounding interest calculator. So you start off with, say, 10 ounces of silver, $570 worth. Then you take that amount of money that you would have spent on the haircuts, reinvest that every month, put that into the compounding interest calculator. Let's say a modest 25% rise per year. Now we're up 100% this year. We've got the industrial demand, we've got the central bank demand, consumer demand. I think it goes up more than 25% a year, but let's say it's 25% a year. At the end of 10 years, what you saved on your haircuts equates to $25,260. Monstrous compounded interest over the course of 10 years. It kind of leads me into what Jeremiah Babe has been talking about so eloquently, and that's the frivolous spending that goes on this time of year. The Christmas gifts that nobody wants, the plastic junk, the crap made in China. Stop the frivolous spending. If you ever notice, like self-made men and women that have started companies, are financially responsible, they don't spend like that. I remember my grandfather who started, built, and ran a multi-million-dollar lumber company. Every year, his hillbilly workers would come to him and they'd ask to borrow $1,000 for Christmas. And I don't say hillbilly pejoratively. These guys were descended from hardworking men that worked in the coal mines and the paper mills of West Virginia. They simply didn't have any financial education whatsoever. They didn't know how to get ahead. I guess that's what they call white privilege, right? Yeah, it's going to get spicy. But he would counsel them, say, save your money. You don't have to buy your kids thousands of dollars worth of useless junk they're never going to use after Christmas anyway. But every year, you know, he was a big softy, so he'd loan him the money and he wouldn't ask for repayment on those loans. So he was a great guy. When I was growing up, when I'd go over to his house, he'd break out a huge Folgers can of bent nails if we had a project or something. And he'd make me take a hammer and hold the point of the nail and tap the nail until it was straight. And I would say to him, Grandpa, why can't we just buy new nails? And he said, because when I was growing up your age, during the Great Depression, we couldn't just go out and buy new nails. We had to make do with what we had. Super important financial lesson. Learn to fix things. Do not spend frivolously. Put your money into hard, real assets like silver. Now, technical analysis wise, I like to address it a little bit in every video. We are breaking out of that 50-year cup and handle. It's a beautiful thing, but I will give some credit here to Francis Hunt, Market Sniper, and Andy Finding Value. I mean, both of these guys do TA as well. I do technical analysis all the time for stocks and options. But both of them have said the RSI indicator is completely bogus for silver. And I mean, that's a big TA indicator that stock traders use. Relative strength index, overbought, underbought, oversold, blah, blah, blah. it's nonsense. It means nothing with silver because all of the stars are aligning right now. The industrial demand, the energy demand, the need to build new nuclear power plants, the ridiculous building of windmills and solar panels and EVs and the Green New Deal, it all just sucks up silver. You've got central banks accumulating. Then, confirmed, JPM has moved the majority of their metals desk from New York to Shanghai. This was confirmed by Bill Still, Martin Armstrong over the weekend. They said it was a rumor, they said it was false. No, it's happening. And the reason they did it is because that is the most relevant market metals-wise in the world right now. LBMA in London and CME, New York, they're becoming obsolete because this paper trading, spoofing, naked shorting game, it's coming to an end because the demand is so strong. There's an underproduction on a yearly basis. And everybody, the secret's out. They've used it for years. So that was interesting to see confirmed. What they have sort of switched into, which is interesting for my Bitcoin boys, and I do have friends that have Bitcoin. They have drank the Kool-Aid on the Bitcoin. I do not own any Bitcoin anymore. I played around with it for a little while, but the more I looked into the creation of Bitcoin, some of the founders, and then the Epstein funding, MIT Media Labs, British cryptographers, intelligence agencies, I want no part of that. I want something physical that has been around for 5,000 or 6,000 years, that has always been the gold standard of currency, and that's precious metals. But it's interesting because the big players like Binance, Coinbase, Wintermute, etc., all these big exchanges that claim to be pro-Bitcoin, they're doing the exact same thing that JPM did and Deutsche Bank and HSBC for years. What they do is they run the price up, they wash out the shorts, retail accumulates, then they drive it down, they wash out the longs. So it's just this continual roller coaster. It's not sort of any authentic supply-demand market. And you need no physical backing. It's not like, Bitcoin traders can call for delivery. It's a series of ones and zeros. It's all digital. So they can do this all day long. And if the proponents of Bitcoin, like a Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy and all this nonsense, now he's talking about selling Bitcoin. So I want no involvement whatsoever. If you do have some cryptocurrency, this is not financial advice, but what I did is I took what little crypto I had, I rolled it into physical silver, and I sleep like a baby at night because of it. In the last probably 20 hours, Bitcoin went from 89 up to 92, and then they washed it back to 88. Totally incredible, totally manipulated. Also wanted to mention the BRICS companies' accumulation. They're done with the US dollar, the manipulation, the leveraging by the World Bank and the wars and all this. They are accumulating physical metals. Take Brazil. 15 tons of gold accumulated in September, 16 tons accumulated in October, 11 tons in November. They have a 172 ton reserve. That's 32% increase just this year. And all the BRICS countries are doing it. Non-BRICS countries are doing it. You look, referring to like some of the reports out of Miles Franklin, where they examine different flows. Poland, Kyrgyzstan, Iraq is buying gold. It's incredible. Probably to replace what the US stole out of them with that fake war. But thank you, GW. Also wanted to talk about a comment that was mentioned on my buddy's page, Aaron over at Texas Silver. He's talking about all-time highs in silver, and yes, it is relative to money supply, CPI, inflation, blah, blah, blah. And we did mention this, but if you calculate the real price of silver right now, adjusted to CPI, we're at 57 supposedly, and these are the Western paper markets. China's already hit 60 an ounce. But adjusted for CPI, it should be $207 an ounce. Adjusted for M2 money supply, $668 an ounce. Adjusted for real inflation, $1,700 an ounce. Mind-blowing? Targets? I don't know. Make your own decisions. And somebody else mentioned 2027, there's a good chance, if we remain on this path, that Social Security defaults. And so what's the government going to do? That could cause a complete uprising. People that worked for 40 or 50 years, all of a sudden, all that money that you paid into Social Security, you get nothing because it's a huge Ponzi scheme. So what are they going to do? They're going to print more money to keep this thing afloat and to avoid some sort of mass revolt. All that is going to do is drive silver higher, along with all the other confluent factors. Now, Andy over at Finding Value was talking about the real price of silver in today's dollars, going back to the two other spikes. So 1980, 2011. So if you adjust it for today's dollars, gold price in 1980 was $10,498 an ounce. Silver was $230 an ounce. If you go to 2011, little less spike, adjusted for today's dollar numbers. Gold, $5,543 an ounce. Silver, $99.68 an ounce. What's the real price today? I don't know, but there is price discovery happening in Shanghai, worldwide, monstrous demand, South Korea, China, India, etc., all the BRICS countries. Now is your chance to buy physical silver at a discount. Also wanted to mention that AI, the build out of AI in these data centers, it's incredible. But what do they all need? They need silver, which the most conductive metal, it drives the price. Now, I will say I'm not all negative on AI. It probably is the takeover of the human race if you go back and watch the Terminator movies, but you're driving demand with the creation of this monster. And also AI can be useful. Wanted to mention this as a practical tip. I use Grok AI to scan all the internet for the hottest silver deals when there's a pullback. And the last time it pulled back to, I don't know what it was, 56, 57, I did a scan and I found an incredible deal on Monument Metals. Now, I've always ordered from SD, Texas Precious Metals, a couple others, but I found a spot price buy on random silver rounds. They said they could be burnished, not guaranteeing condition, didn't guarantee any sort of mint, not US printed mint coins, but private mints and whatever. So I was expecting some beat up coins to show. I only bought 10 ounces. And what they sent me were brand new, beautiful coins. Right after I made the purchase, the price went up $1. So I made money immediately. I got basically brand new silver bullion that can be traded. It was a huge score. And so I went back and bought 100 ounces from Monument. So very happy with that company. Not financial advice, but check it out. Employ AI to do market scans, data analysis, technical analysis. It's going to save you a lot of time, and also finding those deals on physical silver. So please keep stacking. Super excited for 7:30 here Central Time. We're going to see what these markets do this week, but it's the most exciting market in the world right now. Pay attention to the silver markets, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Have a great week.